Hey, what's up? So in this video, we'll be looking on how to query one-to-many relationship and many-to-many relationships in Django-rf, and we will be returning them to the client as a JSON format. For example, we here have a user and like a post and a categories. Between the user and the post, we have one-to-many relationship, so we'll be querying that. And between the post and the category, we have many-to-many relationship, and we will be querying that as well. So yeah. So but before that, if you are using Visual Studio Code like me, you should create this like folder which is .vs code, and inside of it add this settings.json and add this like command which will be activated or run each time you actually create or open any terminal session in Visual Studio Code. As you can see, each time I open anyone, it will go and run this command which will activate my virtual environment here. So if you are, for example, on Mac or Ubuntu, you type source bnv bin activate, and each time you open a new terminal, and immediately the virtual environment will be activated, which is very nice. Okay, so now to start, I need to create like a basic view here. Just to stay like consistent, I'm gonna copy paste the names from the original code I wrote. So when you look at the repo in GitHub, you'll easily spot these things. So first thing, I'm gonna create this view called querying the DB view just for learning, and we need to actually import the REST API view from the REST framework generics. This will actually like you will give it a query in the ORM and it will return to you a paginated result. So we'll have a paginated like endpoint which contains next, previous, and total count, which is very nice. So let's extend that, and we need to give it a query set to like it will paginate this query set. Okay, and the query set will be users.objects.all. This will return all the objects in the all the users object in the database. But of course we need serializer, a class, serializer class, and I'm gonna create one called users serializer, and I need to import it from the current serializer or serializers file from this folder. So let's go there and actually create it. So class, serializer class, this should extend the model serializer, and I will have like a meta class. Here I will give it the name of the model, just like we did here. And another thing is the fields. I will just specify them, like specify the things I need. I won't return all the fields, like for example, if you do all, or I think it's like this. I don't remember because I don't usually use it. I usually specify the fields I want to return. Just in case someone adds something sensitive in the future, it won't automatically be included, right? So I'm gonna return ID, username, first name, last name, and email. This will do it for now. Let's go now. Yeah, we already imported it. So the only thing left to do is actually to go to the URLs and import our query DB view. And this just like add another path with this like as a view, right? We already went through this. So like this, we just registered that view with this query, with this like endpoint, and this endpoint contains this like prefix, or you need to type this prefix, which is the users, and all the URLs under the users like are prefixed with this URL. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think you already got that. So now let's just run the server. And let's go here. So users, then queries, we should see a list of paginated users, as you can see. And now here is like the pagination. Let's actually go to the Django Debug toolbar. You will see we have two queries to actually end up with this result. So the first one will give us this count. You can see it? Yeah, it would give us this count, the first one, which is this. So select count as count from users, since we don't have any where statements or anything. And the second one is select these fields from the user and limited by 10. So if we go to the third page, for example, and let's now open the SQL tab in the Django Debug toolbar, we will see we added an offset of 20, which will give us the 30 users, the 30th users. So this is fine for now, and it's very nice. So let's now actually get like the posts for that, for each user, right? A list of posts. To do this, we need somehow to join, right? So join like the users. For each user, join it with the posts table. Sorry, I'm just tired. Something like this. So select star from users, join posts on post.user_id equal users.id, right? Something like this in SQL. To do this in Django, there is this method in all like query sets called prefetch related. So it's similar to select related. Hopefully I will do video about select related, but the main difference that select related works on one-to-one and prefetch related works on one-to-many and many-to-many, which is usually the case. Or this is like the hardest part to query, so I'm gonna just show you that. But Django makes it really easy. So let's just read the documentation together. So prefetch related, on the other hand, does a separate lookup for each relationship and does the joining on Python. This is very interesting, and I'll show you example on that. This allows you to prefetch many-to-many and many-to-one objects, which cannot be done using select related. In addition to the foreign key and one-to-one relationships that are supported by select related, it also supports prefetching generic relations, generic foreign key. However, it must be restricted to humongous set of results. For example, prefetching objects referenced by generic foreign key is only supported if the query restricted to one content type. For like, I think from here to the end, it's not that important in this current context in the video, but I'm just gonna show you how we can actually like join one-to-many and many-to-many relationship. And this just do it, right? I talked too much. So to do this, select related, and how we can actually get the name. So I'm starting from the users and I want to join with the posts, right? It makes sense that I would do this, right? Posts. But from where I can get this? Let's go to the user model. We don't see anything regarding the posts, right? So remember in our one-to-many video, we added the relation here. So as you can see, the user have a relation with the post have a relation with the user, and as you can see, this means one-to-many relationship now. But how we can reference the posts for each user in like the code? For example, if I have a user instance, I should able to like to put .posts, and Django should actually create a join and return to me these posts, right? Or in the prefetch related, I should just type like or pass to that function just like the posts like this. To do this, we need to actually modify this one. So I'm gonna add new lines because it won't work by default. Let me actually just show it to you. So I'm gonna leave this as it is, and I'm gonna join with the posts. And sorry, my bad. This should be prefetch related because select related works on one-to-one, right? And prefetch related on one-to-many and many-to-many. So prefetch related, give me all the posts. Let's go and see the result of that. So we will see an error because cannot find posts on user object posts is invalid parameter. This is because Django does not know how to ref or what is the name of this reference or what this like posts point to, and we just need to tell it. I hope this was clear. I think it's my bad. I should have done this from the start, and this will be related name. So related name will be posts. Now, if you have a user instance or you are trying to join with prefetch related, you will just use posts, and this should be it. But you will notice now another issue, which is that the post does not appear, right? This is because we need to tell the serializer, hey, this like each object we returned from the user will also have posts. But how to serialize these posts, right? We need to actually create another serializer. So let's come here and create user post serializer. This could not be like the perfect place to put it, but I'm just gonna add it here to focus on the query. This will also extend the model serializer. and it will have a meta class. The model will be the post, imported like here. Let's add it to the end or here. It doesn't matter. So yeah, post. Now the fields will be equal to ID and body, and let's add also created at, updated at. And now we need to tell like the serializers, hey, this posts should use this serializer to actually put them here. And to do this, we are gonna get this and make it equal to the user serializer instance and pass to it, hey, this will be an array, so many equal true. I hope this is not that confusing. So basically, if you have like any field here, you want to do some customization, you will put the name here and maybe assign it to a serializer instance. So for each username, we will go and apply the serializer like logic there or on it. Okay. So actually this serializer, if you go to read the documentation, for each post instance, it will be passed to this serializer and these rules will be applied. So you can actually catch this instance here and do anything you want on it. Maybe I'll do some videos about it, but the documentation is very clear on this. And actually you can say, like, for example, like let's say we have this polo, and I think there's something called method field. And if you go down and say get polo, like this, or sorry, def get polo, like I think will be method. Yeah, I don't quite remember it, but yeah, it exists. So you can actually run some custom methods to resolve these values for each instance. Let's actually just Google it together, okay? I'm sorry if this is like a waste of time, but I think it's useful. Serializers method field. Yeah, I hope I think it's very useful for everyone. So let's actually just see an example. Yeah, as you can see here, we have this name of like field in the serializer, day since joined, and it's equal to serializer method field. And as you can see in the same class, we have this method with the same containing the same name, but as you can see, it's prefixed with get underscore. So this function will be called for each time we want to populate this. I think this could be useful for you, but yeah, anyway, I'm sorry if this was like pointless. But this is the idea now. We have a posts array and we are gonna serialize it using this serializer. And to tell Django, hey, this is like a many, like not a single instance, multiple instances, we will pass many true. That's it. Let's go ahead, refresh. We should see, as you can see, an array of posts, which is very nice. Maybe in the next video we'll see a way on how to limit these posts. Imagine if I have 2,000 posts. I don't want to retain them, right? I want to retain like maybe the first 3 posts for each user. We will see that. But this is basically the idea. Now let's query many-to-many relationships. To do this, we can just here type, which is like, I really like this syntax in Django. And it works actually also like if you try to type user.objects.filter, I could type, hey, posts, like for example, ID in. I can give it a list of IDs for the posts for each user to get, which does not make sense like in this context, but this is, I like this syntax. Here basically we are joining on the post based on the current user or the users we got, and we are filtering each post based on these IDs, which is very nice. And this syntax is very clean in my opinion. Anyway, so the same like these 2 underscores, we can do here 2 underscores. Let's go and join these each post with the categories based on the many-to-many relationship we defined. So let's actually go and like memorize that. So as you can see here, the post, we have this categories property, and this categories will actually point to this post category. and we can just type, hey, for each post, get me the categories, and it will resolve the many-to-many relationships on its own. And we will see the queries in a moment. And yeah, that's like basically it. So let's come here and just add 2 underscores and just type categories. Now we won't see any error, but we won't see the categories. Why? Because we need to add them in the serializer, right? I think it makes sense. So in the user post serializer, I'm gonna add like this categories property, and we need to actually create this serializer for that, right? It's gonna be called user post categories serializer, and the model will be category. So let's actually import that. So from category.models, import category model, and the field will be the ID and the name, created at, updated at, and I could basically just say all, right? I think it makes sense here, like this. And we need to actually go to the fields in the user post serializer and add categories, and this will be equal to the user post category serializer. And since we have many-to-many relationships, this will be a list of categories, right? So we will add just true. Let's refresh. As you can see, which is very nice, we have an array of users paginated, each user containing a list of posts, each post containing a list of categories. And I hope we can find something with with multiple categories, and there is one. So I think this covers the basics. I hope it was clean. I hope it was very useful. I really hope that. But I'm done. You can like go, but I'm gonna just show you extra things. I think they would be very nice. Uh, I think in the beginning of the video I show you, I read, sorry, that the prefetch related at some point, like Django will does the joining in Python. What does that mean? Let's actually open the Django debug toolbar. This is why this tool is very nice. We are running 4 queries to get this result. If you think about it, if we are joining like, hey, join the user with the posts, join the posts with the post categories table, join the post categories table with the categories table, because it's many-to-many. Now get me all of that. So this should be like if I want to do it, 2 queries, a single query for getting the count and a single query to get this joined data. But since, and it says that in the documentation, the joining will happen in Python, let me show you the flow, what will happen, which is very interesting. So open the SQL, you will see this is what would be the count, very fine, as you can see. Now the second query, we are just getting these users and limit with offset. We are on page 3, that's why we have an offset. Since here it's totally fine, but because the join will happen in Python itself, see what Django did here. We are selecting the posts where post.user ID in these. So we are getting the user IDs from this result of the query, and we are passing them in the in operator for fetching the posts. This is like joining them, but not without a join, right? Sort of. And Django on Python will actually put these in the correct places, which is very interesting. I'm not sure why it does that, to be honest. Yeah, but it's interesting, and I think it's very important to keep it in mind. That's why, again, the Django debug toolbar is very nice. And this is like joining, which is very interesting. This is the post category for resolving many-to-many relationships. So we are selecting like these from the post category, from the category inner joining the post category post on these where post ID equal these posts that actually got returned from the previous query. So the execution of the queries also matters. So yeah, I think this is something you should definitely like keep an eye on. The next note, which is, since if you go to this view, we are just basically telling it, hey, use this query set for your internal functionality. If you go here to the list API view, you'll see it's like calling this self.list on the get. You will find it here. It will basically just get your query set and paginate it. That's it. It's really not that hard. Um, and it will use like this pagination class. You can actually put none. This will return everything, but I don't think there's a value in this. As you can see, I returned everything I have in the database, which is not good. So yeah, you can actually customize that. But my note is, since we are just adding a couple of lines here, we can just remove this, for example, and just put it directly in the URLs. And I honestly keep forgetting this syntax, but I have it here. So let's actually try to do it together. So let's go to the URLs. So from REST framework to generics, import list create API view, or sorry, we need to get the list API view, and as you can see, it's just like doing this, and that's it. So dot as view, and let's actually add multiple lines here like this. I think this is much cleaner. So query, like, yeah, query set, let's remove this, my bad, will be equal to the same query set we passed here. This, I mean, you might not agree with me that this is much better, but that's at least a way to do it. Now from models, import user. And now the third thing we need, or the second thing, sorry, we need to add the serializer class. So let's go here from serializers, import the user serializer. This should be it. Now I'm just gonna leave this for your reference here. So this should theoretically behave the same. As you can see, it behaves the same. Oops. Yeah, we have this everything. So yeah, I hope this was useful, and this will be it. Maybe in the next video we'll start like filtering these inner like relationships. We could maybe limit the posts, filter the categories, and we'll see all of that. I think that's actually when things becomes more realistic. This is just like the basics. So for example, I want only the users that have a post, and these posts have like a C++ category. And if this user does not have any post with a C++ category, I won't like return them. So we'll do this kind of interesting stuff. So yeah, this is it. I hope it was useful again. Bye bye.